Nice pre-Thanksgiving visit from political analyst Stephen Lawson. Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, great to be here. Happy Thanksgiving.
I thought for sure, I'm like, Stephen's calling us in. It's Thanksgiving holiday. He's going to be in his PJs and
I got to do it. The few, the proud.
exactly. Well, thanks for coming in. Obviously, I played the a portion of that 10-minute video drop from Marjorie Taylor Greene on Friday on social media, announcing that she is going to resign from her congressional seat in the 14th district on January 5th. Your initial reaction when that dropped on Friday?
Yeah, certainly. I think you had it right. It sent shockwaves across the political spectrum, not just here in Georgia, but across the country. I think that there were some people that had maybe seen the writing on the wall. Obviously, this is something we've talked about on your show, Mark, for a while, this growing rift between Marjorie Taylor Greene and President Donald Trump. I don't think anybody thought that it would end with her resigning early from Congress. But certainly this has tons of ramifications, not just here in Georgia, but I think it also speaks to the dysfunction right now in Congress, in Washington, and this potential splintering in the Republican Party from those who feel like the Republican Party is not doing enough. It's not delivering enough on President Trump's agenda, but it's not delivering results quickly enough. And so I think she may honestly be a canary in the coal mine of things to come. And again, we've talked about it on your show, Mark. The margins are so slim in Congress. Every seat matters. Every vote matters. And it's a very precarious position right now for Republicans in Washington.
And Speaker Johnson is obviously biting his the tongue right now and like, oh, what is going to happen? Before we get to the impact on the majority, the slim Republican majority, just back to the resignation of Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, if you had said this 18 months ago, 8 months ago, 2 months ago, that there would be a public breakup between President Trump and his most ardent supporter on the Hill, I would have laughed at you and be like, Stephen, you're not a good political analyst. That's not. But it all goes back to just the Epstein files. Really, I know she criticized that they can't get the Trump agenda, and she threw some jabs at Speaker Johnson. But this all started with those Epstein files.
It did. I think it's a little more complicated than that, a little more nuanced on that. We've talked about on your show, Mark, and your listeners will remember. A lot of this, I believe, stems going back to this summer when there were reports out that the White House was telling Marjorie Taylor Greene that she could not run for Senate here in Georgia based on her poll numbers that showed her losing by double digits to Jon Ossoff. I don't think she took that well. And I think from that point on, she basically said, hey, I'm going to burn the boats. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to say things that are uncomfortable for the Republican Party. I'm going to say things that people in Washington only say behind closed doors. And look, she got a lot of credit. I think she was right to say Republicans need to do something about healthcare in this country. We recognize that Obamacare is broken and fixed, but Republicans need to come with a solution. Mm-hmm. I think you're seeing right now some of the fruits of that labor. I think President Trump is coming out and saying, hey, we're now going to put forward a plan to deal with this problem that we've got politically. So I think her evolution is certainly something that's going to be studied. I think moving forward, it's going to be really interesting to see what does she take with this and do with it. Does she try to say, no, I'm actually going to run for Senate or governor here in Georgia? Or am I going to wait and put what I'm saying on the ballot in 2028 and run for president against this Trump, Vance, Rubio ticket?
And she has gone absolutely radio silent since that announcement on Friday. Deborah's been using up all her data, texting Marjorie Taylor Greene, trying to get reaction. But I get it. You drop that bombshell and then you hunker down and see what the reaction is. So she is retiring on the 5th of January, right after her pension vests. I don't know if you know this, Stephen. She is going to be living in a lap of luxury. $8,700 a year is what she's going to be. That's it. Like all the people are like, she's doing it just for the pension. Well, she could work, be a Walmart greeter part-time and make more per year than that congressional pension.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I think it wasn't a coincidence on the timing, but sure, she's not raking it in, right? Yeah. And that's obviously much, much farther down the road. But yeah, look, I think that's going to be really interesting. So what's going to happen now is she, again, will resign effective January 5th. The governor will then have 10 calendar days to set a special election that cannot occur sooner than 30 days following that.
Okay.
So the earliest
40-day.
Yeah, the earliest we could see a special election for this seat is probably early March. My guess is it's a little later than that. But the interesting thing here, again, going back to this, Mark, why that matters, the numbers are so slim. I don't think it's a scenario where the governor can wait until May 24th when the statewide primaries are to not have representation for that district, especially when the numbers in Congress are that low. So it's going to be really interesting to see. It'll probably go to a special election, which will be another election, and then you'll have the May 24th primary for the full term. So lots of elections going on in Northwest Georgia as a result of Marjorie's resignation.
And the angst currently for Speaker Johnson is after January 5th, that's one less vote he's going to have in an already slim majority, which makes his job even more difficult. Political analyst Stephen Lawson joining us live in studio. The reaction to, and I don't know if you saw this, but we saw this quote from an anonymous Republican congressperson, didn't say man or female, saying that Marjorie Greene is the tip of the iceberg, that a number of current members of Congress are going to resign in similar fashion, which could wipe out the speakership for Speaker Johnson if I think 6 or 7 Republicans resign mid-term like Marjorie Taylor Greene did, then all of a sudden he's not Speaker Johnson anymore.
Totally. And I think Speaker Johnson is really looking down the barrel of that scenario right now, right? And this was already a difficult job, right, to wrangle a majority based on such slim margins, but you lose Marjorie. If there's and I think based on what those comments from that anonymous source, that anonymous congressperson, there are more on the way. Marjorie Taylor Greene will not be the last Republican to resign before the midterms. And when you start going down that path, legislating in general was already very hard for Washington, D.C. to do. It's about to get a lot harder. And I think that quote is just emblematic of Congress is not doing anything right now, and people are sick and tired of even the people that are up there. And so I think you're going to see a lot more of this.
So you think that is a credible claim from that anonymous source?
I think that there is certainly a chance that the Republicans lose their majority or it becomes a gridlock before the November elections.
Wow, interesting. All right, we had earlier on the show President Trump, coming out and saying, obviously, they want to get a Republican health care plan, but he's open to the idea of extending the Obamacare subsidies because, it's hitting red districts hard, the folks that have been on that ACA program. And he's hearing from congressional folks saying, hey, my constituents are losing their benefits or they're quadrupling the cost. So he's floating the idea of extending the benefits, which leads me to ask this question, then why did we have this government shutdown? Because that's what the Democrats wanted to do, was to extend them, and it just seems wasteful now. 45-day shutdown when we could have been negotiating this 3 months ago.
Yeah, look, that's the conversation we were having a few weeks ago on the Democrat side, right, Mark? It's like you delayed the government and shut it down for 45 days and didn't get anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And now we're having this conversation on the right about extending these subsidies when, to your point, we could have done that 2 months ago and not had any shutdown. I think what this tells me is that they are looking to buy time to shop this Republican plan around Congress and around the Hill to get buy-in, but they understand that they're going to have to extend these subsidies, even if it's for only 6 months, to buy themselves time to do that. But again, this goes back to the point that we've discussed. Where has the Republicans' plan on health care been since Obamacare was enacted? It's been MIA. And so from that perspective, Marjorie Taylor Greene and some of those Republicans that have called for this are right. It will be interesting to see, is this too late? Is this something that's rushed or forced? Or is this a well thought out plan that reverses some of the government overreach in Obamacare and starts to bend the curve back on health care and balance some of these costs out?
If I were Susie Wiles and I'm advising the president, I say, hey, get those Obamacare extensions till December 1st of 2026. So it's not a thing for the midterms. Take that out of any of the conversation for the midterms and just give everyone their subsidies until after the midterms, and then we'll revisit it.
Which ironically is exactly what the Democrats were asking for before the shutdown. So yeah, it's a typical Washington, D.C. fashion.
All right, let's talk. What is the Lawson Thanksgiving look like tomorrow? What's going on?
We've had family here this week. It's been great, but we are going to have a nice, peaceful Thanksgiving tomorrow with turkey and all the sides, compliments of Lucy's Market. So we're really excited
hold on.
about
Tell
that.
me more about Lucy's Market.
Oh, well, it's great. We're picking it up right after this, so I'll let you know.
All right.
But
fantastic.
looking forward to it.
We had a poll in the news today that the most popular pie on Thanksgiving in the state of Georgia is sweet potato. You agree or disagree?
It's a pretty good one. I'm a silk chocolate pie is really good.
That was up there too.
Yeah,
I got to try one of those.
That's really good. Yeah, sweet potato's good. Yeah.
All right. Lucy's Market, code Dettons.com for 17% off your Thanksgiving order. Stephen, we are thankful for you, the amazing insight you provided all year. Have a safe and happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you after the break, my friend.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving to all your listeners.
There you go. 10:49 on the